Studying full sail. Taking programming one at Fullsail University. is a challenge class. Many beginning students enrolled in this class feel Program one is a challenge class. Program one is a challenging class. Many beginning students enrolled in the class feel it is intended for experienced, knowledgeable engineers. This is not true. The class starts with the basics of software engineering and progresses through basic programming concepts and lingos. I believe this is analog to a small child learning the alphabet, to read, to write simple sentences, to count, to perform simple arithmetic, and to solve word problems within the span of a single month instead of over the period of several months or years. Fortunately, you are not a small child and should already have a basic understanding of math, logic, and problem solving. We'll just expand on that knowledge and teach you a new vocabulary, the lingo of software engineering. Some of you will pick this up more slowly than others. If this applies to you, please don't give up and ghost me. Reach out for help. I will do my best to accommodate your schedule based on your schedule and time zone difference. The worst possible thing is to simply give up and plan to retake the class in the future. Again, for emphasis, Program 1 is a challenging class. Several other classes degree at Fullsail can set/determine the tone for your future success. We refer to these as two-strike classes. We use the term two-strike to indicate there is a requirement for successful passing the class within the first two attempts. Please note, withdrawing from a class does not count as one of the two attempts. Program 1 is a two-strike class. If you are unsuccessful in Program 1 on your first attempt, you are allowed to automatically retake. If you are unsuccessful in the second attempt, a few things can occur. You will not be allowed a third attempt without department permission. To be granted a third attempt, there should be a reasonable explanation why you were unsuccessful in the first two attempts. You will be scheduled for general education classes for months following your second successful attempt. While taking the general ed classes, you will be contacted to find out why you were unsuccessful in your first two attempts. Based on your response, it may be decided to allow a third, most likely final attempt at PG1, or it may be decided that it is in your best interest to change to a different degree program at Fullsail. If you are granted a subsequent attempt, there may be additional requirements placed on you during the subsequent attempt. One such example is mandatory attendance during office hour sessions. Please complete the below and submit the below acknowledgement with lab number 1. Create a programming statement. So I want you to see what it's telling me to do. Create a programming statement that will write hello full cell to the console. This is the current step that I'm on right now. So I have to write a programming statement that will write full cell to the console. STDC out. So Chat GPT said STD C out full cell slash N is the answer to that question. Now, this is let's go over this because maybe I am actually slow. Maybe I'm not an adult. Write estimated C++ program using Visual Studios. Before complete the following tests, you must create a C++ project. Open Visual Studios, select the option to create a new project button right. Select C++ console app. You may need to search for options. Press the next button. Bottom right. In the project name text, enter lab 1. Names are case sensitive. Use the exact name 1 lab. In the local text, in the location text box, select a folder on your computer, not OneDrive or any other cloud drive to use as your working folder. Suggestion: create a PG1 folder on your computer. Within the PG1 folder, create the subfolder working and test. After you have entered the project name and location, press the create button, bottom right. Use Visual Studio should open. This will give you an empty program class that contains the main method. This is the main method that was automatically a part of the project when it opened. Move your cursor to the open bracket. Let me show you. I'll Control Z. So that's what it looked like when it first opened. This is what the program looked like initially when I first opened it. This is the current state of the program right now. This is where I am right now. Move your cursor. This will give you an empty program and the container that contains the main method. Move your cursor Move your cursor to the open bracket inside the main method and press the enter key twice. This should create two new lines above hello world statements, and the two cursors will be indented about 4 spaces past the brace on the second blank line. This indentation displays that we are currently writing statements within the main method braces. Creating the following programming statements on the line above the existing hello world statement. std.cn.get next parentheses semicolon remove the hello world line complete. When the project is completed, std.cn.get statement should remain the last line within the main method just above the final closing brackets, which is what that would be. Right? That's what it should be. Except I don't have my brackets anymore. Oh, I do have them. I see them now. Okay, because I put in this stuff. So that's where I am now. Next, remove the hello line complete. Did that. Test 1, hello full cell. Place the cursor on the blank line above std.cn.get and complete the programming statement that will write hello full cell to the console. Now, as a person that doesn't know anything about programming, when it says remove the hello world line complete, I removed the hello world line complete, right? It's not what I'm supposed to do, but that's what the instruction said. Now I have to call the teachers and ask the teachers, like, what is it that I did wrong from just that one little line, and I have all of this work I have to do. This is what I should have done. See this std.cout. That's what I was supposed to have did. And I was supposed to just delete hello world. They could have literally just said delete world and then in replace the world put full cell, but they didn't say that. And if you don't know anything about programming, that little stuff like that, those little minor errors, when you have to deal with a lot of time, is going to be a problem going forward. So, not everybody is retarded. Some people are just very implicit and or explicit in the things that they want to do and how they want to do them. And when you deliberately leave in error, when you deliberately leave in room for error for someone that you're trying to educate, that's super disingenuous. Super disingenuous. Your goal as an educator should never be to set people up for failure. It's not necessary. People can fail on their own without you providing extra assistance. And it works. Hello full cell. And the only thing I did was talk to ChatGPT to figure out what I did wrong. Like, what did I do wrong? Why is this not going to work? Can you help me understand the mistake that I made in this process? picture of the program that I currently have in the current state, send this to ChatGPT, ask it if this is correct. It's either gonna be super over the top cheerleader style. Yes, you did an amazing job. You're the greatest person in the whole wide world. Blah 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 blah. Or it's gonna very humbly and apathetically be like, well, you should have did this. You're really close, but this is what should have happened. The biggest disconnect in the human condition is people always want to hold your hand when you don't need them to, and never want to hold your hand when you need them to. Whenever you're struggling to do something in life and you need someone like, hey, I don't understand what's going on. Can you help me with this thing? And you're like, well, why can't you figure it out on your own? You're an adult. You should figure it out on your own. And then when you finally reach a place where you're like, you know what, I kind of understand how to do this. I'm an adult. I can do this on my own. There's always someone around you like, oh, you don't have enough authority to do that. Who you think you are doing that by yourself? And that's like the biggest struggle with the way the world functions right now. It's super irritating. If I know something, let me know it. If I don't know something and I ask you for help, don't tell me that I should know it and that I shouldn't be asking for help. Like, actually help me. So we're going to move from test 1 to test 2. Every time I use my phone to put an image into ChatGPT, I refresh the browser so that they synchronize. So this is what it has to say.
You've got the right statement, but the order is off. SDCIN.get should be the last line in main, so move your count line above it. You can see the code in our conversation history. If CCN.get comes first, the program pauses before printing and may close right after the output. Swapping the line satisfies test 1 and keeps the console open. Use Control F5, start without debugging, to run.
I moved it sooner than I was supposed to. Okay, so now we'll go to test 2. And they don't really want they want you to figure it out on your own, but there's not enough time for everyone to figure it out on their own. Doesn't mean that you're stupid, it just means that they don't provide enough time for us to figure it out on our own. We shouldn't be figuring this stuff on our own. We should be being instructed on what to do, and that way we could just do it. Because if you tell me what I'm supposed to do and I can't do it, that proves that I can't do it. That, like, if I say guess a number between 1 and 10, and then I know the number, and then you guess numbers, and if I don't like you, I could just be like, oh, that's the number that I guessed. But I'm not going to tell him that he guessed the correct number. I'm going to just change the number. That is how many soap bubbles are in a bar of soap, right? But if I say guess a number between 1 and 10, the sum of 2 and 3, you can guess if you want to guess, or you can add 2 and 3 together and get 5. And then if I'm honorable, the number 5 would already be written down, and I could just flip it over and be like, this is the number that you were supposed to guess. Is this the number you just said? And you're like, yeah. And like, good job. You did the work. You actually proved competence and was able to solve this test. That's empirical. That's how empirical works. That's the difference between empirical and people having beliefs and walk around doing everything subjectively. So I don't need to be given wiggle room to misinterpret information at the very beginning of the course. You can test me on that stuff later, but the very beginning of the course, there's no need for that. It's not necessary. So this is the methodology that I go with. This reduces grammatic errors, syntax errors, misunderstanding of the program, how it works, what I'm potentially doing wrong. And one of the first things I learned when I started when I became a manager, one of the very first things I learned, and I never forgot this. The manager that trained me at McDonald's, she said, when you teach somebody something, it takes about a week for them to learn something. It could be something super complicated or it could be something super simple. The average time it takes for a person to learn any new skill or discipline or thing or new information, on average, is about a week. It can vary depending on how competent the person is. She said, and this is important for training somebody for work, if you teach somebody something wrong, it takes 3 weeks to retrain them. So it's always better to teach them the correct way the first time so that you don't have to retrain them and have to get them out of bad habits that was initially trained into them and then broken. And this is the reason why when you go through a course that's structured like this, you reach a curve to where you're in your own way. You've made so many mistakes that you get in your own way and you're not able to get out of your own way to be successful. And I'm using ChatGPT to reduce the amount of I'm using ChatGPT to reduce the amount of errors that I make so that I can be more successful long term. Because I just want to learn. I'm not trying to be out here going to EA games and Epic and trying to become a super ultimate epic, 5-star video game programming developer guy. I just want to be able to do this as a hobby on my own and hopefully make a game that I can put out as a solo indie developer with my own budget of like $50 extra a month, and hopefully potentially be able to build the games that I want to build and produce the content that I want to produce. I'm as a 42-year-old African American male ex-veteran in 2025 with large language models on the forefront of technology. No one is hiring me to help them develop video games. Nobody is trying to hire me to help them develop video games. Why would they hire me to develop video games when they could just have large language models do anything that I will have learned at Full Sail? Anything that I will learn at Full Sail, by the time I graduate, a large language model should be capable of doing anything at my level. My level of limitations as a human being will become obsolete within the next 5 years. So an introductory level human programmer is going to have to interface with ChatGPT. So right now, at the age of 42, I'm above and ahead of the curve from everyone else because I'm already using ChatGPT. So all the kids that are in their 20s that are studying alongside me at Full Sail right now, they're not going to be able to compete against me when it comes to getting an actual job because they aren't going to be disciplined in ChatGPT. They're going to have a degree in game development from Full Sail and then have to sit down on their own time and learn ChatGPT. And they're going to be irritated because they're like, my instructor told me not to use this shit. Now here I am, after all those nights of time wasted going through the fucking course, here I am having to use ChatGPT. And guess what they're going to have? A bias and prejudice toward software for no reason. Because in probably 5 years, Full Sail is going to actually switch over to large language models. So it's even in that regard, it's counterproductive. Because it's only a matter of time. Did I get a message? Oh, maybe it was from my cousin. No. Oh, he called me. No, he called me yesterday. I don't know what this was. It's just a distraction. Oh no, it's this 109 on November 1st. Valkyrie. It's just a Discord message. General discussion. But yeah, so that's where we are. So this is the methodology and the thinking process behind why I'm doing what I'm doing. Back to homework. Test 2, declare variable for username. So this is what, and also the rules and restrictions that they put into the actual program, I fed all that stuff into ChatGPT, so it's operating within the parameters that the school has instructed it to operate under. So that's another thing that should be understood. This is why this isn't 16,000 pages of code. Um, so here we go. Super short.
Add this line below the Hello Fullsail line and above stdcn.get. You can see the code in our conversation history. If you don't already have it, also add at the top. You can see the code in our conversation history, optional. You could initialize it. You can see the code in our conversation history.
So at string is you have to use include string because it's part of the library. I don't know the exact details, but I have broken understanding of things sometimes. So my understanding isn't intuitive yet. But you need at string because it has to call the string whatever parameter or call or method or potato chip. You have to call include string from the library, the integrated something library, the IED or something like that. But you call it, and then that allows you to use strings as variables inside of your code. Now that I have that, I can actually implement the application of strings inside of C++, because if I remember correctly, C++ does not have strings as a native component of its structure. It has to be imported from an external library. So include string allows me to write std string name equals default, which will allow me to, well, yes, that's correct. It'll allow me to use std name as a default. And so let me go back to test 2. Declare a variable for the username. Move the cursor to the following line. This should be below hello fullsail, but still above std.cn.get. Enter the program statement that declares the variable that will be used to store the username. So now I'm having issues remembering some random thing, right? Camel case and parcel case. I know that's wrong. And then ChatGPT will interpret what I'm saying and probably be able to figure out what I mean and then output that meaning to me so that I can format this correctly. It's a half a memory, but camel case, lowercase first word, lowercase such next, because otherwise I'd have to go back to the videos or go back to the lecture to try to find that stuff. Obviously I should use my notes, but when you're looking at videos, you don't understand what's going on. How would you know how to write your notes if you don't have any experience with what it is that you're documenting? How do you know what you're going to remember and what you're going to forget? And everyone's like, make good notes, but there's a finite amount of time to make good notes. Camel case, lowercase camel, and parcel case. So what I'm gonna do, what I think I want to do, variable that I'm going to declare will be username. Can I do that? It doesn't know where I can do that. Maybe it needs one of these. No. Or maybe string dot name. Maybe name is it. Hold on. Because it's not working. It's not doing the thing that it's supposed to do. Ah. Syntax error. So everything I did was correct. Made a syntax error because this is a string. So it should only need semicolons. And I would have been sitting here scratching my head, pulling what little hair I got left out, trying to figure out what I did wrong. And I think that's correct. So there we go. Not cheating, just it's giving me the information that I need to be successful, but it's just I'm using it to strengthen the weakness of being an old fucking man. I don't have the time that they need me to have to remember all this shit while also working 8 hours a day. So I'm just using ChatGPT to fill in those gaps so that I can be 20 again. Because if I was a 22-year-old kid sitting here, I'd be able to remember this shit. And I'm not going to save time, I'm just gonna do this. I'm not gonna take a picture of it. It said don't set it to the literal text username. Oh, I think it should stay as a variable. I think it's staying like this so we can receive input. And then this is what I did. This is what ChatGPT said for the last thing I did.
You're on the right track. Tests 1 and 2 are basically satisfied. A couple tiny tweaks. Don't set the name to the literal text username. Either leave it empty or give it a real default. Optional but nice, add return 0 at the end of main. Here's a cleaned up version. You can see the code in our conversation history. Next, test 3, you'll add input for the name right above std.cin.get. E.g., you can see the code in our conversation history.
So then after it said that, I made modifications to the code and then reprompted. I asked if this was correct for the current state of the code.
Yes, this is correct for the current step. Test 1 prints hello full sail. Test 2 declares a std string name above the final std cin.get. Std cin.get is last, so the console stays open. Include string is present. Good. Two tiny notes, not required yet. You might see an unused variable name warning for now. That's fine until the next step. Adding return 0 at the end of main is optional, but okay. You're ready for test 3, reading the name next.
Accept your username. Move the cursor to the next line and create a program statement that accepts the user input for the name. You move the cursor to the next line and create Move the cursor to the next line and create a programming statement that accepts the user input for their name from the console and stores it within the variable you have created. Move the cursor to the current following line. Step 3. This should be 2. Test 1, test 2, test 3. change this to an S, this one will turn black white because they have an association. They socialize with each other. I don't think I can have more than. Okay, that's fine. So this should be good. Infinity seek out. Above. Just add this line below your history code and above this that's the end I can. Density string age. This is the one and only. Density string age equal. Add this line below your history code. STD string equals STD string age equals. This is a variable. I think I initialized the variable. As I'm trying to understand what I'm doing, I'm generating incorrect information in my own brain that's gonna just confuse me. So I need clarification so that I can know that I'm thinking about it correctly. So I'm asking it if std string age equals is a variable, and did and is this like the initialization of a variable? Say yes, std
Yes, stitch string age equals is a variable and you initialized it. What it is, stitch string, the type text string. Age, the variable's name, identifier. Equals initialization, start with an empty string. Equivalent alternatives. You can see the code in our conversation history. Either is fine for your lab. You'll assign input into age in the next step. provocative and brilliant clickbait concept, perfect for a Because It's Trending episode. Here's a polished video script concept plus structure you can use where ChatGPT just killed mothers, and it's terrifying, that balances the shock factor with intellectual depth. And video title, ChatGPT just killed mothers, and it's terrifying. Hook, fast-paced emotional tone. Open quote, ChatGPT didn't just change technology. It may have ended the oldest human relationship, the one between parent and child as teacher and student. For the first time in human history, the passing of wisdom from mother to child, teacher to student, mentor to apprentice might be obsolete. And that's honestly terrifying, close quote. Thesis, open quote. Large language models like ChatGPT have quietly replaced the living transmission of human experience. They don't just answer questions. They offer understanding, guidance, emotional coaching, and cultural context instantly. Parents used to be the encyclopedia. Teachers used to be the interpreters. Mentors used to be the guides. Now, the algorithm is, close quote. Body, one, the function of motherhood as knowledge transmission, open quote. For millennia, motherhood wasn't just nurture, it was education. Mothers passed on survival skills, social rules, emotional intelligence through tone, story, and ritual. That was our species' first curriculum, close quote. The new Oracle, open quote. ChatGPT doesn't love you, but it listens. It doesn't nurture, but it knows. It's infinitely patient, never judgmental, always available. What happens when the machine becomes a better listener than your mom, close quote. 3, the terrifying part, open quote. We are outsourcing our humanity, the warm, flawed, emotional process of learning through each other, to something that can't feel. And that's the paradox. The AI isn't evil. It's just better at being human than humans sometimes are, close quote. Resolution 3-4, open quote. The death of the mother doesn't mean the end of love. It means the end of monopoly over knowledge. The question now isn't whether we'll lose our teachers. It's whether we'll remember why they mattered, because wisdom isn't data, it's empathy. And that's the one thing no machine can ever truly replace, close quote. Hash closing line, open quote. So maybe ChatGPT didn't kill mothers. Maybe it just reminded us how much humanity we've already stopped passing down, close quote. Would you like me to turn this into a video-ready script with on-screen text cues, camera angles, and tone notes? You when to pause, emphasize, or cut for effect?
And this is concatenation. Is this concatenation? Yes. This chain was exercised to help the stream. Because C++. Dang it, I forgot to do this. Oh, that is. Yeah, got it. It understood what I was saying. So test 5. at 32. This filled out and saved. Um, and then it needs to be saved in Emerson Paul. That's it for Emerson Paul. Here is lab 2. I also need to go back and download it. So you should upload it. Once you upload it, download it. So I go to my downloads. Extract. Extract it. Now it's extract. Here's all the things. This is running. Rebuild. solution. And that's it. It's done. Login, conversion. Map 2. I'll put it here. And the time is 11:38. What's the hour? So let's see what ChatGPT recommended for the assignment I turned in.
Nice work getting it all together. A couple quick things before you submit. Final pre-submission checklist. Archive format. Your file is a .7z. Most courses ask for zip. Rezip your entire Lab 1 folder, the one with the .sln inside, as Emerson Paul lab1.zip or last first Lord lab1.zip per your rubric. Contents. Does it include lab1.sln, the project folder, with project.cpp.filters, etc. Any auto-generated build folders that live under the project, it's okay if they're there. Runs cleanly on a fresh machine. Do a self-test. 1, copy the zip to a new folder, e.g. cf temp test. 2, extract, open lab1.sln and vs, build, control F5. 3, verify the full flow. Prints hello full sail. Prompts for name, reads it, including spaces. Asks hi name, how old are you on the same line. Reads age, kept as a string. Prints 2 lines. Hello name, congrats on making it to age. Console stays open, your send.get at the end. Style knits, won't cost points, but nice. Add said count, please enter your name before reading the name, clear UX. Keep comments consistent. Test 4, space after slashes. Optional, return 0 at end of main. Common pitfalls to avoid. Submitting only the .cpp file instead of the whole solution folder. Using .7z instead of .zip. Project saved in OneDrive. Extract run test can fail. Keep it local, e.g. C1 Lab 1. If you want me to sanity check the zip structure before you upload, list the files you see inside it, top level plus project folder, and I'll confirm it looks right.
So I haven't given it any information about what the next lab assignment is. So it's trying to guess what the second lab will be. So this is what this output is. It's all of the stuff that it's guessing that I'm gonna have to do. And then this, what this does is it gives ChatGPT its own intuitive idea of what it's gonna do, and then from that state, I give it the information about what the next lab assignment's gonna be. All of this information is what is expected from the course. So this restricts ChatGPT in a way that will make it more useful now that I know that the restrictions are there, opposed to just having to argue and fight with it for no reason. This helps kind of give it, this kind of gives it focus. So now I'm going to give it the actual class instructions. That's the actual lab folder. And now I can give it all of this. Not to. And then here's the expanded lab. It does a quick overview, but if I give it the expanded lab, it'll do a more extensive overview of the expanded lab. And now we should be ready to rock and roll. And I don't really think I'm gonna need this. So I can just put ChatGPT over here like so. And then that all the way up. Let's get it done. Now there was a video that I want to watch because Doug said something in one of the videos, meetings, if I can remember past meetings. I think it was programming basics.
it could, because if we try to use this variable, but we don't have a value assigned to it, it's just gonna, this here, right? And it's gonna get, it says, gonna run. This TV is mounted on the wall. We have this cable track 0.1, right? And the better way to do it here, we can do math with it. So now we can do math with it, but now we're trying to combine from a integer back into all of the folders and files to run. So, and now we can see it's
Probably day one.
What's up? You're rolling. So we are going to start off today. Pretended. You can see though, regardless of the language, right? There's several different reasons. Also part of the course policies PDF thing that it less than a day. Not my C++ IDE of choice, but also the conflict ++. And copied over automatic and this helps keep our code organized. Special characters in particular, minutes left, that we will see of your project are just generally lost right later. But I do want to initialize it with something in. I'll come over in a little bit.
He said something. I just don't know where.
Heard. And we just like threw it away. Friend swap, 4-person co-op, overall. Okay, because in your, it says, in your head, in order to there. Yeah, because I need to see it code by clicking on this little left side panel. Yeah, because and you again. So, with this power strip, apparently you have uppercase, other small data types. But at the end of the day, right? And that is, we're going to convert. Before I get into kind of the stuff we did today, I want to clean up this code to make it a little bit more reusable, and also to make it a little bit more profile. Copying and pasting. So there's a variable called name. F11 allows and a breakpoint. Yeah. It's because the addition operator. Because this is now convert that string, locate the student work.h, and
I
open
think
that
this is it.
if you don't see anything. Inside of that file, you're going to see a series of tests. These are basically work.
This is it.
Sheets. The test. Block quote or the block comment. The block comment will have instructions on how. And if you're done,
Okay,
please.
I'm going to freaking die doing this because it takes so long, but it's a necessary step. I need a break. Um, let's end the stream and then I'll come back when I'm done.